Good morning, traders. How we doing out there? Welcome to the one, the only pre-market press. Of course, I got my guys, Joe Elconin, Dennis Dick in the background. You guys start us off with a thumbs up. We're going to have a great show to you today. We're going to talk about Apple, CDC. We got Fari on, and of course, we're going to talk a little bit about Tesla, the Tesla Dragon being put out. A analyst on Wedbush talking about potentially 30% increase. Let's go ahead and talk all about it right here on Pre-Market Prep.
Coming to you live from downtown Detroit, this is Benzinga's Pre-Market Prep with your host, Joel Elconin.
This is a volatile puppy here, isn't it?
And Dennis Dick.
I'm bidding a penny. I will buy the stock for a penny.
With everything you need to start your trading day.
Good morning, traders. Let's go ahead. Let's bring on the one, the only Joe Elcon.
What's up, Money Mitch?
And Dennis Dick. What's going on, guys?
Official? It's official.
It's official.
Melt up.
Melt.
Yesterday, I mean, we've been kind of melting
Santa
on
Claus
yesterday.
is coming to town.
Yeah, you make a new all-time closing high
Santa
by
Claus
50 handles.
coming
That's a melt
to
up.
town.
It's a nice
It's a
song.
melt up, isn't it? I mean, what else? I mean, this is a melt up. I don't know.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
And
Tesla's definitely a melt up.
Yeah.
Now you got analysts ganging up on it. It's the melt up of all melt ups here. I mean, it's been straight up for 5 days. Wow.
All right, let me run down the index. Couldn't get low enough for Cheapy Joel to buy here, and I didn't buy it on the upswing. Pre-market low 73.50. May never trade that low again. Being a little facetious here. Pre-market high 47.97 and a quarter. I might go out on a venture here and say we hit 4,800 today. You have the IWM trading live here. That's up 51 cents at 224.63. Crude made its move yesterday, and it's keeping on going up a buck 17, 76, 74. Maybe get a look at the $78 level. That's the next resistance point. Gold up 950, knocking on the door again. Will it get smashed again? I don't know. 1820, big level. Silver doing its 22 to 24 thing here. That's up 25 cents at 23.24. Bad day for Bitcoin. That's down 21.55, 49,120. And let's see, 192. That's how much Ethereum is down, 39.0650. And just an example of a melt up. I know some people like to short, some people don't, but I tried to short at the pre-market high yesterday. And it was kind of a tight stop. I mean, it was like in, out, boom. And then after that, I'm like, hey, you can't beat them, join them. And what a day!
New all-time highs S&P. You don't short stuff making new all-time highs.
Well,
There's lots of good stocks short. S&P is not one of them.
No, I thought I'd try a little dip at the pre-market high, bring it in a little bit lower mid-range on the session, but that wasn't the case. But Triple D, give me something that's down this morning. What, Coinbase, Bitcoin? What?
A little bit of Bitcoin down. Yeah, Coinbase is down. Full disclosure, I am long Coinbase still. There's a few things down. You got some of the vaccine makers, which I think the vaccine makers are all continues to sell on rallies. I mean, let's be honest here. The vaccine makers against this Omicron, you can see now that they've kind of let us down. I mean, yes, they're saying it's helping.
No. They didn't let us down.
I think science has let us down here. It's not working that great against everybody's getting it. I mean,
what are they getting, Dennis? I mean, people aren't dying. The hospitals aren't full.
But let's be honest, the unvaccinated aren't dying either. So the one study I said in 10 weeks is what they need another booster against this thing. I just don't know. I've been pro vaccine. I'm still pro vaccine, but I'm just saying they're not working that great. I know we're trying to give them so much credit because nobody's dying, but the unvaccinated aren't dying either. it's not working that great against this variant. So I just don't want to be getting a booster every 10 weeks for the rest of my life when I don't see hardly anybody even getting sick from this thing. Even the unvaccinated, a lot of them aren't getting sick either. Some are, and I'll take my chances with the vaccine. But I mean, we've been, saying how good science, how much it's helped us. This variant came around, and in all honesty, I'm challenging how well the vaccine is really working against it. I don't think we
I'm
have the science to
challenging
answer that question.
how it was, and I don't want to get political, okay?
It's
I don't
not
want to get a
political.
big.
It's about the
It is
vaccine.
political because from the entire time with this Omicron, I'm like, okay, well, let's see how bad it is. Maybe it's more contagious, right? But less damaging, and that's kind of the way it's turned out to be. I mean, people are gonna get sick, okay, whether it's Omicron or the cold or the flu or whatever. I mean, you just can't go through the world like you're saying. Science failed us because
I'm
some
not.
people are
I'm saying
getting sick right now. People are going to get sick. People are vaccinated, unvaccinated people. People are going to get sick. We don't know
Uh,
what the
uh,
situation
I think
would
it could have
be.
been a hell of a lot better. I
I
just,
think
you're at over 10,000 cases a day in Ontario right now. And originally when we signed up and bought into the vaccine, I'm just going to say, originally they said, oh, you're not going to get it. And then there was these breakthrough infections. And then they changed the entire story and told us that, okay, well, it's not going to make you as sick. And I believe that. I believe that if you're vaccinated, you're not going to get quite as sick. But let's say three, how many boosters are we going to be getting? I'm asking you, Joel, and you can ask Lisa this too. Are we going to be getting boosters the rest of our life? Like, am I going to have to get a booster because my mom got sick off the booster and she's
yes.
okay now? But she had a real rough time, or with the second one, she didn't even get the booster yet. She's scared to get the booster because she was really in bed and she's got some underlying health conditions. Are we going to have to get boosters every 3, 4, 5, 6 months for the rest of our life?
I want to
That's what
jump
I
in
want to
here
know.
because I feel like I'm a
I don't know
perfect
that.
case.
I'm asking that question.
I think I'm a perfect case for this because I've gotten my second shot, but I haven't gotten my booster. Reason I haven't gotten my booster is not because I don't believe it can benefit me, but it's because I just feel I'm gonna have to take another booster and another booster
I
and
know.
another booster.
This is where I'm at too. I'm with Mitch.
And so to me, I'm at the point where I'm just more wait and see right now. I know that it's dangerous, but at the same time, if I got in the second shot, I was supposed to have a certain amount of protection. I'm relying on that versus the booster. Of course, the booster can help that protection, but I still haven't seen it take away infection. It's just more strictly towards the death side. I think that's the focus of science. Eventually, science will get to around where it's focusing on infection rate. But for me, right now, it's still the focus is just death rate.
Yeah, and I don't want to die either. So, and I am fully vaccinated, full disclosure. I'm just saying, I just see this going down this, like, we're going to have to continue to get boosters because the variants, like, are they just going to stop? Is Omicron going to be the next variant? I think we can safely say it's highly unlikely that Omicron is going to be the next variant. And it is so rampant, it is everywhere. There could be 2, 3 more variants just popping out at us out of nowhere here because it's in the mutations that these variants come. So as it's copying like crazy in the vaccinated and the unvaccinated, I just think, what if the next one isn't as nice as Omicron was? Because obviously this one didn't kill a lot of people. We know it didn't kill the unvaccinated either. I'm not saying don't get vaccinated. It helps. I got my kid vaccinated. A lot of people aren't getting their kids vaccinated. I got my 7-year-old vaccinated. So I'm still pro-vaccination, but I just looking here now, it would be nice if, like that the vaccine would work longer than 6 months. It'd be nice if they could come up with something a little better that I don't have to get this shot for every single new variant. Because I just saw a study go by, I don't know if it's true or not, they were saying it's only like 10 weeks now is what they were going to say, that the vaccines really start to lose their effectiveness after 10 weeks. So they're saying 6 months, you still have some effectiveness, but you need to get a booster at that time. But they're saying it starts to decline after 10 weeks. I think we need to improve it. I think they need to improve the vaccines.
CDC just did a change though, right? I mean, now they're shortening its isolation from 5 days from 10 for non-symptomatic patients of COVID. What do you think about that, Dennis?
I mean, nobody's getting sick. I don't see any. Okay, so here's the situation. Calgary Flames, hockey team. They all got it. There was literally 20 players out of the 23. There's like 3 players on the entire team that didn't get it. This is 3 weeks ago. They're all at practice right now. They were all vaccinated, which is good, but they're all at practice. The whoever was talking from the team, just talking about, they said they had a couple people that had mild flu symptoms, and everybody else, maybe it's the vaccines working, and we can say, that's good, if the vaccines are working that way. But I mean, they're all back at practice, and they're starting to say that Calgary is going to be the team to reckon with here in the second half, because they've all had it. They're already past it. And they're like, they're not going to get it going forward, at least not Omicron, because they've already all got it. So I think that they're lowering it, because you go from 10 days to 5 days, they're realizing that a lot of people aren't getting that sick from this. I think they've lowered it. I think the original COVID was very deadly. I think, Spencer Israel, and we've had this conversation before, I think the one from, a year and a half ago was different. I think it's just weakened itself enough that it's not that deadly anymore. And maybe the next strain is going to be more deadly, but this Omicron doesn't appear to be hurting that many people. So I agree with it. I mean, if you're not sick, and the NFL's gone to not even testing unless you're symptomatic. Is that not correct? Isn't that the way what they've moved on to?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of kind of different sports policies changing, the NFL, NBA, NHL. I definitely think the NHL has had it worse than all the others. NBA has been struggling too, pulling players from the G leagues just to try to get games on, versus like the NHL, where they just don't have that many players where you could pull from. But let's go ahead. Let's transition.
If I move on, if we can move on after this, Dennis, you could say something.
Yeah, sure.
I don't remember Pfizer saying that, that you would not get the disease with their vaccine. I don't remember that being said.
Infections. I mean, anyways, I'm just saying, these vaccine makers, which have all rallied significantly on their vaccines, are selling off because people are not, they're selling off here because I think the vaccines need to become more effective. So I think people are saying they're not going to continue to get a shot every 6, 8, 10 weeks or every 6 months. So I think that's why they're selling off, and that's why I don't want to own the vaccine makers. So bring it all the way back, the big circle here, why Novavax is selling off, and they just finally getting their first one working way late to the party. But Moderna is obviously sold off. BNTX sold off significantly here. I think if you're banking that, well, these things are just going to keep pumping out vaccines and we're all going to get vaccinated every 6 months, I don't think that the general public is, and like I'm with Mitch, I don't think the general public's going to accept getting a COVID vaccine every 6 months. I think a lot of people are going to say no to that. So I think, where maybe people are pricing in the bullish that, we're going to get a vaccine every 6 months for the rest of our lives, and this is going to be a continued revenue.
Do you get a flu vaccine every year?
I don't. No, I don't.
Sometimes.
I pass on it.
Yeah. Well, flu don't kill you.
But I'll tell you one thing.
If COVID goes to a point where it's not killing anybody, then it's going to be a different story too. So we're not taking away from the science, Joel. Do you not think that these vaccine makers are selling off for a reason here? We've got a pandemic going on everywhere. This thing is spreading, and the vaccine makers are getting killed. There's a reason for that. And I'm trying to justify the reason that the general public doesn't want to get a booster every 6 months.
What about? I mean, I'm looking at Pfizer here.
Pfizer is not the one to look at because it's got so many other things in there, Joel. Pfizer, this is a little small piece for Pfizer. The ones that are leading on this are Moderna, BNTX, because they're all in. BNTX, Moderna, and Novavax are all in. This is their one-trick pony. Moderna, we know, is working some other stuff, some better flu vaccines. That's why I've always kind of liked that one. But those have sold off substantially. So, again, we're moving it away from, we're pissing the chat off. So but we're trying to bring it back.
They piss us off all the time.
I'll bring you back. Let's go ahead. Let's get into Apple, guys.
But what do you think about the vaccine makers? We haven't got an opinion on it. Would you buy them then, Joel? If we're going to get a booster every 6 months, they're probably all screaming buy.
I bought Pfizer, and I bought it for other reasons. I haven't touched the other ones.
Would you buy BNTX or Novavax or Moderna right now? Why
No.
not? If you think, that we're just going to get a boost.
Because they were crap companies to begin with, and it just the hype of the market and the vaccine. They went up just because of the momentum and the machines and Reddit. It just juiced those stocks. They were, if you look at them before in the past, they were crap stocks, and they're crap stocks now. So no, I wouldn't buy them back then, and I wouldn't buy them now.
Honestly, I'm on both sides. I wouldn't buy them, but at the same time, I understand why Dennis is looking at them because of the booster shots that could come out. But at the same time, what if no one takes them?
If we're going to get a booster every 6 months, those things are buys. I'll say that.
What if no
But
one
I
takes the
don't think
booster
a lot of
anymore?
people are going to get the booster every 6 months.
We'll see what happens, guys. Let's get into Apple. Apple here
and that's why I'm
closing.
laying off on those.
Apple closed 12 of their New York stores due to the spread of Omicron, and that's just inside traffic. Of course, you could still do pickups and kind of online, but inside the store traffic has been closed. This shows a little bit more kind of concern in New York. New York was, of course, kind of the state that really kind of brought the pandemic to the eyes of everybody. So what are you thinking now that Apple kind of closes some stores here? And I mean, all-time
They'll buy the
highs.
stuff online. There's not a big deal.
Yeah, it's a store, and seriously, I think the market is looking past the pandemic. I mean, again, it is important to talk about this for the simple reason that we're traders. If Omicron was killing people right now, this market would not be at all-time highs.
Exactly.
Do you agree with that, Joel? If there was unvaccinated dying from this right now, this market would not be at all-time highs. We got lucky that the Omicron variant, Omicron, they make fun of the way I say it. I guess Omicron.
No N.
I know. I keep saying because Omnicom. I can't. The stock is the stock. I've said OMC, Omnicom for years, trading it. And that's so dang close. So it's on me without the N. Cron isn't killing people. So that's why the market is looking past it. So I know we have a reopening trade that's been on pause. I would argue to buy the reopening trade as well, because I do think we're going to peak. Some of the doctors have said we're going to peak on these some cases in January. And if nobody's dying from it, maybe we're going to look past this, at least this variant. There's going to be another variant coming down the road, but maybe we're going to get past this one, where a lot of people aren't going to die. And I think that some of these stocks are buys. I think some of these reopening stocks that have been put on pause are buys.
Great segue, Mitch.
Yeah, I know he went right into closing a store because of the virus, but the virus is everywhere. So
and next we're gonna get that CDC headline ready.
Might as well.
For Apple, good day yesterday. It was a little late to the party. I have a level for you to look at. It's 181 at quarters, the pre-market high. 181.14 is a daily high as well. So you got a little confluence there. All-time high, which we could see today, is 182.13. So if you're looking for a short-term resistance point, there it is, and minor support at the close in Apple. That closing price we're up 35 cents, so 180.33. That could be its all-time closing high. So keep an eye on that as well.
Guys, there's not that much news out there today, so we'll just keep going through. I'm trying to bring you guys the catalyst out there, but really, I mean, the Apple news kind of like the top news of the day.
Market. Let's go to Tesla.
Yeah, let's go to Tesla. I was going to talk Tesla at the end, but let's just go to it now.
But it applies to everything. Because
all right, so let me at least give you what I got from Wedbush.
Yeah.
So Tesla said that Wedbush said that Tesla could rise 30% in the next year due to China demand. So pretty much analyst Daniel Ives wrote in a note, he expects component shortage to ease next year, allowing Tesla to better meet growing demand in China, while new factories in Austin, Texas, and Berlin should alleviate the global production bottlenecks. He also reiterated his price target of 1,400 and estimated that China's deliveries would represent 40% of the EV makers in 2022. So the revenue.
I wouldn't have chased it yesterday. I won't chase it today for the simple reason I don't like chasing. I'll just say I missed it. But on a pullback, if you got a sudden pullback on a headline or anything down to that $1,000 area, I think you got to be a buyer of Tesla again. I mean, Joel, I know you're still long this. This has been got to be one of your best holds ever. I mean, this stock, it's just been a monster. You've ridden the whole entire thing. Are you thinking about lightening any up,
No,
or you're
it's
just
small. No, it's a small position, and I'm not
this
even
become a
thinking about
big position? Probably it started as a small position.
no.
Yeah.
Let's look at yesterday's high. I mean, it hasn't taken that out in the pre-market yet, so that's a little bit interesting to me. Yesterday's high was 11.17. You poked another high at 11.13. So you got to give it two-star resistance just because you haven't taken it out, and then it's wide open over 11.50. Another pair of highs, right? Let's just call it split at 11.70. That'd be a big move. But first things first, let's get through the previous day's high in Tesla at 11.17. And I don't know. I mean, you're buying it off this price target. I mean, you're chasing here a little bit, but if you want to play it close to the belt, the close is way down at 10.93. So I look at that as support today.
Well, I think this is all about the chip shortage, right? What's going to happen with chip shortage next year? AutoNation in October talked about how they expected to still see new car shortages. I mean, they only had 5,000 cars in their inventory when normally they have 50,000 cars. Just to put that in perspective, that's AutoNation. Even though AutoNation didn't have as many cars, they actually made more money because of the margins that had been increased in used vehicles. So just to kind of bring in AutoNation, and then if we take a look, Ford is actually breaking out.
Again,
If we
yeah.
take a look, I like that chart.
I still think it's
Really
the EV
strong.
play. I mean, I
Yeah.
like the value EV play. So we'll say that. Obviously, Tesla's been the EV play of EV plays, but the value EV play, I'm still long for it. I'm still holding for it. I've owned it since $7 when I said it was a sneaky EV play. It's tripled for me now, almost tripled, anyways. It's still cheap. So it was cheap at 7. It was cheap at 15. It's cheap at 2080. And I think that the F-150 is going to be the best-selling electric vehicle ever, and I'm sticking with that. F-150 is the number one selling vehicle. I think that electric F-150 is going to sell like crazy. I think Ford is the sneaky EV play. I think they figured it out. I think it's going to break out. I think Ford could eventually be a $30 stock. I'm sticking with it.
And I think it surpassed GM in market cap yesterday. I thought I saw that somewhere.
I'd buy GM on pullbacks too, though, because I
Yeah,
think all the majors, there is supply chain issues. To your point, the chip shortage isn't just going away suddenly, so that's always going to be an issue here for at least the foreseeable future. I think you've got a number of reasons for that, but I don't think that issue is gone. Some people are saying it's going to be the supply chain issues are all going to go away next year, early next year. I don't believe that. I think you got labor shortages in industries across the board. People want to be paid more money. Inflation's obviously a reason for that. People are saying I'm paying more for stuff, I want to be paid more. But there's other shipping and all the other stuff that's behind it as well. So I'm not. That's the only thing that's holding these stocks back to a certain extent. Is I think they could be blowing it away in sales, but they simply don't have the trucks to sell. So, which is a good problem to have. I mean, the demand is there, and
Yep.
people have changed their mindset a little bit permanently where they're not afraid to spend money. This has always been, there's obviously always going to be outliers out there, but the average person that was saving for a rainy day has realized through a 2-year pandemic that rainy day may never come, and maybe I should be spending a little bit more today. So the average consumer is willing to spend more than they were prior to the pandemic. And that is good for all businesses. That is good for the S&P. And that's going to be a driver going forward if people aren't afraid to spend. Is it good, for the overall, situation of debt because people are taking on more debt? I'm not sure about that. But I'll tell you, people are willing to spend. Demand is there for everything.
Well,
all right. Go ahead, Mitch.
one thing I did see is Lucid recovering an important level yesterday. So keep your eyes on Lucid today. I think it
Let's
has
see.
an important support right underneath it. It keeps
Yeah,
kind of wicking through there and then closing above it,
yeah.
showing me that support is holding. But it's really important. You can see it on the daily chart here, just standing out.
Yeah, it does. It came down just under $36, kissed 35. Then was a level back in early November. I think you get back over 40, and you get people having to buy, into a rising market as opposed to just getting slapped on bids. And then someone asked about NIO. Same thing. A big sell off, 44 to 28. Not a great day yesterday, but a couple more lows in this area. You're risking $2 if you're leaning on the low of the move there at 28. Boy, oh boy, I don't know. Tesla just seems to be so far outperforming these and
Yep.
good times and bad. I guess maybe go with the best of breed instead of
I'll
playing these
say
yo-yos.
Neo is on my list. I'm just adding it right now for the January effect. So again, remember the beaten down growth names that have had a really rough 2021 could have a good couple weeks in 2022. Again, most of these stocks I have not. I've nibbled into a couple of them, not Neo, but I don't want to be early on this trade. But come like Friday close in towards next year, I want to be long some of these names for that initial oomph because I still think you're going to see a relief rally, obviously depending on what's happening with the overall market. If the overall market's holding up, I think you're going to start to see some of these ARC names, not that Neo's one, but some of these beaten down growth tech names outperform in early January. So not saying I'm holding these in my long-term account, just saying I think you could have a good couple weeks in early January in some of these names. I think Neo is one of those.
All right, let's have some fun here. Let's actually talk about some of those stocks, those 2022 stocks that you could be looking into next week, because it's an important thing. Next week, the first starts, a lot of the bigger investors will be looking to get back into the market. We'll be seeing what happens with these certain stocks, but there's certain stocks that I'm definitely keeping on watch. I'm going to bring up two here, and then you guys can do some in the chat. I'll bring them up if I feel they're good growth stocks. Let's talk about DraftKings and Penn. Those are two that I'm thinking about taking a shot at into next year.
I think so too. You know why? I think I can see, the NHL has been getting hammered. Maybe I have the hockey vision glasses on, but a lot of the players have got it. And you know what? Those players aren't probably going to get, hopefully they're not going to get the next variant, but they're definitely not going to get the variant that they just got. So it makes me think that, or, if we start to peak in cases, maybe sports get a little bit going here. Like now we miss the Olympics, which really sucks, from a hockey perspective. But I mean, I think, we get into, February, I think a lot of the sports is going to be maybe cooking back to normal. And if that's the case, people are going to be like, yeah, man, like right now it sucks because, and from an NHL perspective, like 100 games canceled. And you're like, okay, well, this game's, it's hard to get into it when they're, okay, well, they're postponing this game and they're postponing 3 more yesterday. And you're like, well, it sucks. But I think if we start to get past this variant, which I think we're going to late January, I think DraftKings, and it's the pure play on sports betting, maybe gets the relief pop too. So I kind of like this going in for a setup for a January effect. Similar, like I said, with Peloton, which, I'm glad I'm not early. I haven't got in it yet and had a rough day yesterday. But again, still holding those lows. And I think you're going to see that January effect in DKNG as well. So I'm hoping for it anyways. And I've got it on my list. If it's not on my list, I'm looking right now. And I can list this list off to you, but it's all these same names. You kind of know them. I put DKNG on there too. Just
Yeah. You want to hear a funny thing that Lisa said? I do mention Peloton every once in a while,
Yeah.
and I said, where do you think Peloton's
Oh,
at?
she doesn't look at the prices.
No, she won't look. And she goes 20, and I go no. I go it's 37. She goes, oh good, it's up.
It's up.
It's up from the 20. It's
From the
up from
$20 price you originally bought it at.
and I'm like, oh,
She's like, well, she holds forever. She Warren
this
Buffett
is a
over
bad
there.
one. No, this is a bad one.
This
That's
is a
gonna
true
cause
diamond
fights.
hand, Lisa.
I'm like, I don't understand that one. It's up. It's up. No, the
You gotta
you
gotta tell
you
Lisa.
guys have been pumping the DraftKings and the Penn since like $80, and
Not
the
me.
Penn since 80,
Penn,
and the
Penn I like.
DraftKings, and you and
I haven't
Sean
been pumping
Udall.
DraftKings. Come
You
on.
tried to buy it
Hey,
at 40. Scott stopped out. You
I'm
tried
a
to buy it at
gambling bull.
35. You
I'll
guys are
fight.
trying to. I don't know where sports gambling's going. I think people are more interested in the stock market and they listen to pre-market prep. And I think sports betting. I mean,
Sports
you
betting.
guys can keep.
Highly doubt that.
There are more people interested in the
You know
market.
why?
A lot more people are interested in the market than sports betting. So,
Joel, you know why I don't think so?
right.
Because look at what the new generation's into. The new generation's into cryptocurrency, NFTs, and specs. What are these? Lotto tickets, baby. We want
Yeah, there are a
lotto
lot of
tickets.
there.
We don't want
Yeah, but
10%
there,
gains
there are a
anymore.
lotto
They do
ticket
like
that
the
like
lotto
never
tickets.
pays.
That's
I
the
mean,
thing that you need to. We all need to learn consistency, but at the same time, we're looking for those big boy gains, and the big boy gains sometimes
the
just
big boy
aren't in
games,
the
like
market.
the over unders. I mean, it's just so. I mean, stocks are random, and there's random movies, but in sporting events, I
Cool.
mean, it's just so many. You give 11, the team's up 14, and and with 3 seconds to go, they let the other team score a touchdown. I mean, it's tough,
Yeah,
man.
when you're playing
Just
the spreads.
yeah, you're playing the
Yeah.
spreads or the
Money
money
line
Like, oh, we
line.
spreads.
lost, but they really won. But the spread,
Yeah,
they
like
didn't cover the
and you
spread.
you don't know what the
Oh,
hell
right
you
down the
cheered
road.
for. I just want my team to
Hey,
win by 1. I just
Dolphins,
want
baby.
Michigan to win. Well, they're getting 7.5, but I'm not taking a 7.5. I don't care. I want to win by 1 point. That's what I want in sports.
All right, let's take a look here. We got a super sticker from Matt Miller about HOFV,
I remember you guys. This was
Hall of
one you guys
Fame.
talked about as a sport. Wasn't it
I
sports betting?
actually
What
talked,
was
yeah,
this?
I talked to the CEO. So pretty much this is the Hall of Fame, right? It's a center, and one of the they're growing to have a water park, hotels. They're trying to make it in a full experience. So if you go to the Hall of Fame, you can have different things. You can do one day, you can spend it at the water park. One day you can spend it at the Hall of Fame. Another day you can just do the shopping and the dining. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to do a full experience here.
It's
Do I believe it? As you
too
can
low.
tell, I
I don't
think
like
Wall Street
$1
has said it.
stocks.
If you buy it at a $1.63, the most you can lose is a $1.63.
It's a call
That's
option. When you're buying any stock for
Uh,
$1,
if
it's
it
basically a call option.
if it gets over 180, it's probably going to do it in a blink of an eye. That's some resistance. That's all I
And
have
you
on
could
this
get
one.
that January effect in something like this too, but I'd rather buy the January effect on the more widely known names.
now one thing to benefit them, and that was mentioned by the super sticker. So thank you for bringing in the information, Matt Miller. So pretty much they got a sports book license. I know they were going after this for a while because they want to be able to do a little sports betting at the event also, right? And kind of push people towards that. So that's kind of the next move. Ohio's governor signed so they could have that sports books license. So that could help them get off the ground. We'll see what happens
Hey,
if
Dennis, look at if you
HOFD.
would you rather own Charles Schwab or DraftKings?
Oh, long term, probably just the majors. So DraftKings would just be a trade for me at this point. The
Look at
valuations have just never been there to really go all in and say DraftKings go in the long term portfolio. It's never touched my long term portfolio. I have Penn in the long term portfolio because valuation wasn't crazy. They got the physical casinos, which was a mistake. I'll say right now, my Penn, when I bought it at $75 3 months ago, whatever it was obviously not even 2 months ago, was obviously a mistake. That 70 support was going to hold. I should have sold it. I did sell half of it when it broke it, but it broke it so fast. So, and it was a long-term in the long-term portfolio. I sold the trade portion of it. I kept the long-term portion of it. I shouldn't have. But, with that being said, do I think there's an opportunity for these stocks to rally in January again? I
Yeah.
think so.
Okay.
I've been preaching that. I mean, I've been preaching this January effect here for a better part of 3-4 days now. Again, trying to get the timing down. That's why I'm not, I'm long Penn from before, so I'm going to stick with that one. But, I've got the whole list going, and, a lot of these names, DraftKings and the Penn would be on that list as well.
I got a spread, a double leg spread. Buy Schwab and Interactive Brokers and short DraftKings and Penn.
You know what? Long term, Interactive Brokers, I love that company.
Yeah.
I
mean, look at
obviously
those
trade with
things.
it. Well, and I mean, they've just always had it figured out. I mean, yes, the user platform may be not as user friendly, but it's got all the bells and whistles that, obviously a regular prop account would have. So, I mean, you can do everything in Interactive Brokers pretty much that you want to do. I mean, you control your routing, you can do all that stuff. So, I've always liked IBK.
I've
always liked Petterfee too.
Have you ever had the stock close because it has COVID? They didn't close the markets in
Well,
the
could. Yeah,
pandemic.
they could.
Yeah, with sporting events now, these guys got a layoff. They don't
Joel's
practice
done
for
with
2
sports.
weeks.
He's done with sports.
Yeah, I mean, we beat Ohio State.
That's
I
all
mean,
that
what
matters.
else do
Joel's
I
done.
need?
I'm retiring a champion.
You're not putting a
He's
bet on
retiring a
Friday?
champion.
You're not putting a bet on Friday, baby?
And
putting
just
that bet
one
for that
last
national
thing, I got a
championship.
stat
on
for you,
sports.
Dennis. 84% of the people in the hospital are unvaccinated, and 99% on ventilators are unvaccinated. So, if you think those are statistics, if you think that science is failing us, there's some statistics.
Okay,
All
so I'll
right, guys.
retract the science is failing us. They bring it right back to that conversation. But science, I've just been, we're 2 years in here. I don't know why we need a booster every 6 months. Can't they come up with something better? Or get the shot and
We need
protect me?
Fari.
Well, I got a
Let's-
booster for us. His
Yeah, we
name's
got the
Fari.
Give me a
booster.
Ferrari
His
booster.
name is Fari, and he's got to come on. Let's go ahead. Let's bring him on here. You guys have him, Fari Hamzei.
Hello, boys and girls.
Author of Hamzei Analytics. Guys, check this guy
Fari,
out. If you guys
booster
haven't
every
seen
6
him.
Audio check, audio video check first.
We want to know have you got your booster? Did you get your
Of
booster?
course.
Are you
I
going to get one
manage
every
money
6
for it.
months? Are you happy to
Senor.
get one every 6 months?
May I say something?
Yeah.
Okay. I manage some money for some docs. Do you think they're gonna they're not gonna take care of me? I get house calls. I got my booster right here, Jack.
They come get you.
Of
got
course. Because
special
when you run money, have you seen what our system has done? Between 50 to 70% a month?
You're
They
killing
kill
it.
for that.
So all your doctors
It's
come
called,
right to
remember
you.
Pat Hagen in Godfather, the consigliere? That's what these guys are. They take care of you.
He gets the good stuff. Fari gets the
You
good
got
stuff and the good
Murray,
treatment.
and you gotta do that.
He's the watch commander. What do you expect?
We've
How's
been
Captain
long.
Tico? How's Captain Tico?
Admiral. Remember,
Admiral
we salute the rank.
Tico now.
We salute the rank, not the man. Okay, so hold on. Let me see. Can I share some screen here?
Of course you can. Go
All
ahead.
right, guys. Thank you. By the way, I didn't get a link for my flock. So just so you know for next time. All right. I gave a regular link out there for pre-market. Okay. How do I share it?
There should be a plus button
Yes,
down at the bottom.
I got it. Sorry. You guys change what do you call it? Platforms like I change underwear. What's going
Hey.
on?
You know, whatever works, right?
It's just,
Sometimes you got to flip it inside out.
no. Hold on. Hold on. Go show these tips again. What am I doing? To share the screen. Now,
Yes, sir.
okay, there we go. Are we good here? Here
Perfect.
we go. You see that?
There we go.
Okay.
Got it on.
Okay. Again, we've been long from November 26th. There was a time we took a pause. The volatility was just too much. We went flat. We were short. We were wrong, and we were wrong. We covered. We sat there as it dipped down. We went long, and that was that. So it took off. Here's the chart. Here you can see, and 3 sigma is 48.54. Listen, that tells me what 4,900 now. Now you tell me, because remember, as it moves up, the sigma chart is going to also move up. I'm sure some of you guys are very familiar with this.
Yeah.
I've been pitching the same story for about 10 years now,
Yeah.
and maybe more. But so at 4,900, the question becomes this: do we go to 5,000 or not? I think we will. Here's the reasons. Economy is very good. Don't look at headline numbers. They fool you. Look at what the BLS, for example, is showing. The devil is in the details. You can dig into their reports. You can see what's happening with manufacturing, what's happening with construction, what's happening with healthcare. We're getting some bumps, but net, especially revisions. Look at revisions. Forget headlines. Headlines is now. We know these time series are noisy. Statistically, you got to go back and say, hey, what did you do? I'm looking at December reports. That's November. I want to see what happened in September, what happened in October. Those numbers are solid because now they have revisions. As you look at those data, if you plot the revisions, we're doing good, not too bad. Let me go to another issue. Those bond guys. Hey, inflation. Hey, hold on. We want PTM, trailing 12 months. We moved the goalpost last year because we were in the toilet. We're getting, as Cypher would call, double flush, okay, a courtesy flush, because we were disinflated last year. We had a disaster here. So if you move the goalpost that low, obviously we have a huge inflation right now. Now, and this is acceptable. We have to have this because of pent-up demand. Mm-hmm. We're talking 6 months where we are. The economy is better where we are. The health, Omicron is tough. I understand that. Okay. I am very cautious about it because I have psoriasis, so I got to watch that. But yeah, even Tico is wearing a mask. So I'll tell you something. And he's a recovering Trump kid from Alabama. That's my 2 cents, my 2 shekels.
I want to
Yes,
ask you,
sir.
Fari.
Yes,
So,
sir.
as far as the Sigma channels go, on the upside here, and I know that the way you work it with the higher the market goes, where how are we compared on the upside here for developing new signal channels to where we were on the downside? Now I know it's a lot different because it was just
Yes.
such a that
Excellent
March
question.
April low. I just wanted to compare the
Right.
expansion of the of the signal channels.
Okay. No, I'm with you. Hold on, let me explain it. Here, let's go to weekly. When in doubting daily, what do? We shift back, right? Come back one delta time higher. So now go to weekly. This is the March, February to March drop of last year, and that's how Admiral Tico killed it. I mean, that when he went short, nobody believed we should go short, and he gave 2 words to you guys. Remember Admiral Tico? He said, "Chemical reagents." I've said in many interviews, chemical reagents. Why? Because CDC admitted we don't have enough. That means we don't have testing. Guess what? We still have testing problems, don't we?
I know. 2 years later, we have
Yep.
testing problem. What's with that?
Exactly.
What is
Because
with
you know
that?
what happens? EPA. We ship those kind of chemical type industries. We still have Dow here. We still have Chevron. All these chemical plants we have, but those are so dirty. We ship them out. Guess what happened? China. When he heard that, Admiral said, "Daddy, we gotta short this sucker," and we're at all-time high. Long story, but now look what happened. I'm giving you an example here. I'm not trying to go back talk about nostalgia, but to your point, Joel, look how it's behaved. On the downside, we hit 3 sigma or more, maybe 4 sigma. Okay. On the upside, and this is weekly now. On the upside, we only get to 2. If you go back and look at these, that's a little busy. Hold on, let me walk you through like this. You could see a lot of 3 sigma hits, but never we get 3 sigma on top. So that would be now. That only happens if it happens. It's very, very unique, very rare, and most likely everybody and his brother says, "I gotta take some profit." Profit taking comes in. It's not that people are trying to short up there. Nobody's got guts up there to short, even when the market gets that strong. But so I would look at how many touches we had on negative 3 sigma. I gotta get long. This is a flush. All the weak longs are getting thrown out. They have no idea what they hit them. It's a freight trade that hit them. Same thing on the upside. Now, except we gotta really be cautious at 2+, sigma 2+. So we're in that edge right now. And now I go overnight and see we're up another 15 handles on the let's see, on the S&Ps. Let me take a look here on the futures. Where's my chart there? There we go. Yeah. Okay. We're up 12 and a half right now. We peeled back. And 74 on NAS. I like to look at it as percentages, as we all should. And we're slowed down a little bit on the Russell. It's 0.2%. But we had almost 0.5% on NAS and 0.25% on yeah. So we're still going forward. The seasonality is very strong this time of year to the upside, especially when you have had a flush. When you get a W like that, you see that W right there? Okay. We get a flush like that. This was a very good buy. As you know, we've been very quiet on PMT. We sat back. Some people were complaining, saying, "Hey, I need a trade." I said, "Listen, this is the Navy sailor. We don't work on quotas. I was going to have targets lined up. I'm not shooting that missile or that harpoon or what do you call it? I forget. Torpedo. I'm not wasting a torpedo if I'm not set up. We bought here. Okay? And we underestimate the strength, by the way. Truth to be told, we underestimate. So we got out a little bit early, but look at the run. I know some of my trades did not get out. They said, "Fari, you didn't do it here. You were a little bit cautious. We're not going to be as cautious as you. This is a good trade. We're going to sit there." Hey, the right, bless them, more power to them. You know, I can't win them all, but this is a pretty good chunk we took up.
So
Now,
What about
So we've
Well,
had
go ahead.
we made a new high here on the S&P
Correct.
yesterday.
Very
We're making
strong
new
high,
all-time
yes, sir.
highs here again. Do you just remain full long and strong, or are you booking profits into this, Fari? How are you playing it?
Well, I'm not in the stocks, as you know. I'm day trading.
Yeah.
And then with the NQ system, it trades for itself. So this becomes, as we get here's our challenge. When that system is trying to do, it doesn't trade on Wednesdays. It's called opening range breakout. It trades very well on Monday and Fridays. Now, why? Mondays, you have mega merger Mondays, right?
Mm-hmm.
On Fridays, you have non-farm. Not every Friday, but on that cycle. You have non-farm. You have expiration. So they work very heavy. It doesn't trade on Wednesdays because the E of X, the estimated return for the system, if only trade Wednesdays is negative. So we eliminate that. But because it's the opening range, it needs the opening range. It is come into a breakout and it buys the top, sells the bottom. Okay. One day, December 3rd, I think it was. Is that what the last non-farm we had? Yes. December 3rd, it returned 88% in 2 hours. It only trades 2 hours. We have not finished the second part of the system, which is afternoon. Why do I need that? For FOMC. I need it for Wednesday FOMC. I don't have a system there yet. We're almost there. We're working on that. Now, our challenge becomes the following. No, we don't trade stocks. We trade stock index futures. We trade some options. Now, derivatives, that's my background. So, and a lot of work on volatility, I used to teach at SIBO. So what I'm trying to do is this. What's my challenge in the morning when I already have gapped up or already gapped down? Are you with me, Dennis? When you already gapped up and gapped down, the concept of ORB, open range breakout.
What time frame do you use for that?
Pardon me?
What time frame do you use for your opening range breakout?
3 minutes.
Okay.
Because we did a lot of back testing on the indicators themselves. This journey started 2 years ago. We've been very hush-hush about it. We finished some interesting indicators. We back tested on those. Once we were done with that, then we said, okay, let's do it for options. Once the options finished, we said, why don't we do it for futures? No, we didn't know what task we were undertaking. That was huge. Here's one of the, Joel, you remember this. Here's CI. You and I talked about CI along with Sigma Challenge many, many times. This code, I went back to look at, was written in 2002. It's 9 lines. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 lines, right? The system is 680 lines right now. All in the same platform. Easy language. Trade session. 680 lines. It has something like 15 exits. It is math. Our stress point is money management. Why? Because I've made some mistakes. I burned my hand too many times myself. So I said, Fari, you're no good. Let's let the system take over. And no emotions. Yes, these are my indicators. And I bought an AI programmer who understands TradeStation. Because the key here, guys, a lesson to all the TradeStation users and those who are listening. When you're trading, indicators is one thing. You're clicking. You click and buy here, sell there. When you let the machine do that, you have to understand how the clearing engine of TradeStation sitting in Aurora against the matching engine of Globex, how that operates. If you don't get that wrong, your orders won't go up. So 3 minutes works for us, Joel, and it works 2.5 hours. 9:45 gives a signal. At 12:15 it's done.
All
it
right.
covers and goes away. We take the launch off. The new system comes over. When it gets ready, it'll trade the afternoon.
Fari, now I see 2 breadth indicators here.
Yes.
And why do you use these 2 specifically?
So they're the same, just different market. One is SPX, one is NASDAQ. But it's just a different way of looking at the data because no one indicator is always going to tell you what to do. Historically. Very good question, Mitch. But historically, you cannot be relying on one indicator, but you can have 5, 6, 7 of them. Then they're correlated. Becomes correlated, you're looking at the same picture, it's slightly different. The breadth trust came from my good friend Jason Gopfert, sentiment trader, very, very smart guy. And he shared the code with me. I just wrote it in TradeStation because he's not a TradeStation guy. This was McClellan Oscillator, and I was a student of Sean McClellan himself. I used to actually learn a lot from his wife who wrote the code. She's passed away, Miriam. She was part of my user group, and he and she were part of my user group at UCLA when I first started. At Los Angeles when I first started. This has a little bit noise in it. This is a little bit cleaner. But you could see pretty much the same data. We could be off one day, okay? But what I like to do is this. This is less used. The indicator or system is less used, has more power. The more you use the system, it becomes diluted, okay? And also, I'm looking for very sharp moves like this one. This is not a sharp move. I want to see from one limit to the other how fast the rate of climb. Think of it. This is F15 taking off. This is like F4. It's heavy and slow, but Phantom, this is the Eagle. It is really taking off. those gives me a different sense of what I'm supposed to do.
Agree. So the last question I have is, how do you see the market breadth right now overall? I'm seeing a lot of the stocks. I think it's like 59% under the SMA 200. So how are you seeing it out there, Fari?
Good. Very good question. I'm going to share you a data that's not mine. As you can see the stock charts. Bring it over. This I've used many years. As again, I'm a type who would not change my indicators once I know they're working. Let me see what 1, 2, okay.
Were you looking to buy a new chair?
This is what I'm using. You can get on a stock chart.
Chair, Fari.
The targeted advertising, Fari. You must be looking to buy a new chair.
No. I've been looking around. I'm going to talk to my
They know.
chair supplier, and she's saying, go and find something. I'll go get it for you at my price. I do have extra time. What's the savings? $100? Give me a break. That's a piss. Oh, pardon.
They know what you're looking for, man.
You better clear those cookies out next time you come on.
Exactly. So anyhow, yeah, they keep on hitting this stuff. Anyhow, but look at this line. This is what I'm trying to get to. This is a percentage of stocks above 200 day. I was really alarmed here. What's happening down here is the big boys are hiding in their FANG name, basically. Why? Better management, better balance sheets, better products. Prove it. And so they would, if there's any shake, they would hang it better. They shake it better rather than Russell. Russell was getting his ass kicked. But we're beginning to come back up. And my line in the sand, again, if you go back to my archives of PMT, you'd see it's 55 to 45. That's it, what my demarcation zone is. 55% to 45%. Now, this comes out in the afternoon, after the close. Don't try to look it up during the day. Make sure you watch the dates. Otherwise, you're looking at yesterday's data. Minutia doesn't change much. But look at the shape it had. Now, look at I've just said that, first of all, use 20 and 50 MA. Don't use 10 and 20. They're too close. But look at the separation between those two lines. Because I'm a mathematician by background, okay, and physics and math. So look at those separations. Those separations tell you a story. Right now, we're moving up too fast. That means that there's more participation coming in other names. Before, they were hiding in FANG. That was scary.
Okay. So you're starting to see a little bit of comeback. So that's what I've been seeing too. I've been focusing also on the 50, and you can see it's starting to come back. I've been looking for some of these to really start showing a little bit of strength, and then that can help us see that change from the rotation from the FANG stocks. Appreciate it, like always, Fari. You always kill it on
Thanks,
the
Fari.
market breadth. And I mean, we always wanted that secret sauce. If you guys haven't checked them out before, and you haven't seen all the screens, because I know I've seen that. I love that look, Fari. I definitely one day wish to come to the office and see how you run things, because it definitely is the watch command.
Write me a check, not a problem. We only charge $6,000 an hour.
Only.
What about a security check?
Well, that's the whole thing. My current investor, as you know, I run a boutique hedge fund, are not insistent, and they want. They said no more money until you remove your address.
I can't pay in Doge.
You cannot display where you are now, because I have I publish a newsletter. I have to. So we're trying to come up with a compromise. They're panicking about the picture being there. So.
Well, there you guys have it. Definitely check out Hamzei Analytics, guys. If you guys,
thank you guys. Happy New Year to all.
Happy New Year.
Appreciate it, Fari.
What are you doing over there, Triple D? Did we see? I mean, I don't want to say we're selling off, but we sold off a few handles. You see anything in balance land there?
Let's go check it out. Let's go get some information here for you guys. And balance land is looking like it's small. No, they're small.
Nothing.
Visa 44,000 to sell. AT&T 250,000 to sell. I still think AT&T is a nice 25. Even the candle yesterday, a little sneak up. And then back down through it. What is that? The Miguel Morales little cut through the 25. Oh yeah, we're going to 26. Oh no, we're not. I think AT&T's a sell. GE.
I know. I'm waiting to set you up on this one. I knew not to take it yesterday.
You gonna do a bet? You gonna do a bet?
I'm gonna wait. I know exactly where I'm gonna make the bet too.
All right. I'm bearish at AT&T, so I'll make a bet with you anytime.
You've been right for a long time.
Well, I've been wrong the last 3, 4.
Oh,
10
hey,
days,
can we
I
give
guess, so.
people the ARC update there? Everyone was in a tizzy because Kathy sold.
Kathy sold. She only sold stocks yesterday, but you got to read the fine print. So she sold like a piece of like everything yesterday. Like, is Kathy liquidating? She's not liquidating. If you look right on the ARC email, I'm going to read it from you. It says, notice, all transaction activity today was for purposes of raising cash for the 2021 annual ETF distribution. The cash raise activity has been completed. So it was not that she's just raising cash for that distribution. So nothing to see here. That's a big nothing burger. I just
All right,
solved the
guys.
mystery for you guys.
You guys throw up some stocks in the chat. I'm seeing CRSR being mentioned by V Harris. That's an interesting one for next year. It's been pulling back, but I love
It's
the
on
name.
the list.
I really do love the name.
I know
think they
you
have
liked that one
advantages
for a while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
remember when I called it IPO? That was the IPO I'm still missing. But it almost coming back to IPO price. Maybe I get
Wow,
it.
she got to 20, huh?
What's the valuation on this puppy CRSR? Because it's got to be starting to get into
Wow.
like, do they make money? CRSR
I
make
can
money?
tell you they have competitive advantages. At least that I can tell you for sure.
You could see it's been killed. It's going to be a tax loss selling candidate here, and it probably has been under pressure from tax loss selling here. That obviously leaves at the end of 2021. So it's a candidate to rally in early 2022. Again, all these names that I got on this list are not long-term investments. I'm just hoping for a
Trades.
little January pop in some of these beaten down names.
Well, the good news is there's a double bottom. The bad news is it closed right there, right now, and you're trading down a nickel in the pre-market. So maybe these 21.95 buyers will back off, maybe to 21.40, 21.50. That's your next pair of lows. And then if you're looking to get this, a little bit like when I see stocks like this, they go to 20, they go to 22.60. So at 260, 130. 2130, 2140 area, get that on the cheap and then lean on the low of the move at 2005 on the upside. Didn't even make a new high from yesterday. You can't get excited about this thing on the upside until it clears 2270.
It's an interesting chart. I'll be watching that one. And also, you can take a look at Logi. Logi's also been suffering.
I got a small piece of Logitech that I just nibbled into.
I think it's important.
Actually, probably, I think I'm around 82 or 83 bucks. So it was somewhere in the last couple months. I got a small piece, half size position.
Quiet.
You know, when I make those half size bets, though.
Quiet.
Joel.
That's for
Yeah,
sure.
look at that. Look at that. A couple of range, quiet days. Keep an eye on 85.50 if you want to get excited about this
Logitech's
one on
more
the
of a
upside.
value, like a
Yeah,
value trade.
value
as opposed
tech,
to value.
ADR.
Yeah, I put in the longer term portfolio because I want a little piece.
Okay.
All right. How about
Value stock.
MGM before you get on out of here, Joe? I
Just
know
been
you
a
already
monster.
sliding. We need
This
you.
is
One
this
more.
is held up, but this is held up very well. I mean, when you just think about what has happened, to all the other casinos, and you compare MGM. I mean, there's not a lot of casinos. This made a new all-time high in November.
Can you believe it? Yeah.
Yeah, I know. So this has been best of breed for a long, long time. It's maybe because they don't have the exposure to Macau. Maybe that's it. I'm not sure. I don't obviously, it's been an outperformer for a long time. It's had a pretty good couple of days too, because we were $40 a week and a half ago. Now we're 46. I got a pullback, the 42, 43 area. I think you want to be a buyer of MGM.
Yeah, you had the big decline, got over 50, got down well under 40, and now you just figure you're exact halfway back here. I would look at this low, 44.52, because that was the low after the big up day. So if you're trying to lock in some profits, yesterday's low, 44.70, your 3-day low, 44.52. So let's hold in here, not take out those lows. I just don't like the look at that bar if you do take out that down.
We are leaking here, Joel.
Yeah, I told you.
Continue to leak, Joel.
Gotta
What's
leak.
going on? Tell me, Triple D.
Gotta leak. Gotta leak.
You're just
it's
gotta
a
leak.
smart
It's
kid.
been a heck of a run here, though. Putting it
It's
in
a smart
perspective,
kid, man.
SPY
5 trading sessions ago took 451. We're basically up 4.5% in 5 days. It's been a good run.
Santa Claus is coming to town.
Well, that
Santa Claus, they
pre-market high.
front ran Santa. They were front running Santa Claus. They front run them all last
They
week.
said Santa's coming early this year.
He did. He came a week early. Yeah,
All right, I'm going to
attention.
hop off and cover the market
Go.
after it completely unravels here. Pre-market high.
Unraveling.
Look at this. Oh my gosh, we're
Hide
going
under your
red.
desk.
Hide under your desk.
Take cover.
Take cover. I don't know what to say here, Mitch. I mean,
Hey.
I think I'm still rating that list. I'm making a list. I'm checking it twice. I'm going to find out the naughty stocks to buy that are going to be nice in January. That's what I'm playing. I'm playing.
I
If
hear
I
you.
haven't, I haven't bought. The only one I bought was Macy's. I did buy Macy's. I talked about it. I bought
Okay.
some Macy's. I'm trying to think if I bought anything else off that list. Not really yet, but they're all there. They're all ready to go. I kind of want to buy the Baidu. I kind of want to buy the Baba. Just looking, but they didn't participate yesterday, so I'm glad I'm not early. Again, ideally, I just want to own these things January 1st. I want to own them like Friday night and into the weekend, but I don't want to miss it. So I'm just watching. But I haven't seen any life really. Like they underperformed yesterday, so there's no reason to think that, okay, now's the time I got to get in these things. But I still think we're going to see a relief pop in these things in early January.
Hey, thank you, like always, for your opinion. And not only that, but like always, coming on here and bringing your expertise, Dennis. Appreciate it.
Okay, thanks, guys. See you tomorrow.
All right, guys, let's go ahead. We're going to wrap up here on Pre-Market Prep. But like always, we'll be up next on live trading with Benzinga. Yesterday, we had some great trades on live trading. Short Nikola, a little scalp on Palantir. We're going to talk a little bit about some indicators too. I heard Debbie out there telling me, give me a indicator that doesn't lag price. I'll talk a little bit about indicators and why I feel technical analysis can be useful. Let's go ahead. We'll get into live trading. I'll see you guys there. And like always, guys, till next time, hit that like button, hit the subscribe down below if you're not subscribed already.